Good night. That's not good. That's not good. Hang on. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. Sorry, I'm running a few seconds behind. I've been trying to set up all new lighting in my studio. It's been fantastic. Just been excellent. So, let's see. I figured today we'd go with a cool little thing. You might be able to see my backlighting in the studio has changed. I'm much brighter and less harsh, right? So, I've spent, I don't know, the last 3 hours trying to get my lighting right. So, let's see here. I think we're going to go with a 8-inch portal today with a mountain and a seascape. It's going to be fantastic. So, on Mondays, I like to show you everything that we've already done. You guys are going to tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwich? Right? Lighting looks good. I dig it. I look nice and bright. Canvas looks good. I like it. Okay, now, I've taken the canvas and I put Bob Ross liquid clear across the whole thing. You can see it's very wet and reflective. See my reflection down here in my arm? Very reflective, very wet surface. Now, in order to have our colors shine through when we use our white, then we need to cover it with some of our undercolors. So, let's grab some of our blue, our phthalo blue, and we're just going to put it everywhere, anywhere and everywhere. Right? Just all over. Doesn't have to be the same. You can have it be a couple swipes over here, a couple more swipes over there. Don't all want it to be the same for sure. That way, wherever we go across it, it will change and become different. Right? Get all these little differences in there. Let's go to that darker Prussian blue. Ooh, it's super dark blue. Super dark, and especially on a black canvas, you can't even tell that it's there. Like you can see me putting it on, but you can't even tell. It looks black when it's a really, really, really deep dark blue. Take some of our lighter blue, throw it up into here. Kind of mix it back and forth, pushing it around. Remember, guys, you can get this canvas if you go to paintwithjosh.etsy.com. You can buy this easel if you go to the link in my bio, or find the link in the caption of the YouTube videos, or if you go to my Facebook page, it's like my pinned video or my pinned post over on Facebook. You can get this easel. You can get that Mead oil painting set, which is a really cool set. A really neat little set. A little bit of blue down there. Let's take a little bit of our Prussian too. A little Prussian blue from the other side. All right, doesn't all have to be the same kind of blue, and we don't need it to be blue everywhere in the same amounts. That's the fun part, because then when we go across it with all of our little differences, we're going to show all these different blues and different bits, no matter where we are. I have a bit of dark blue, I have a bit of light blue, I have a bit of this blue, I have a bit of that blue, wherever you want it to be. All right, just have them be different. A couple little stripes and little differences out there. That's all we need, right? Just back and forth between the two blues, and that way we've got a lot of blue paint across the entire canvas, right? Just like that. Now, wherever we come through and hit it with our white paint, that's where it's going to shine and start to light up all of these blues, right? So, make sure your entire canvas is covered. Go across it a couple times just to make sure. You don't want to have any area that's not covered. And this helps blend the paint and kind of get it into all those little spots of our canvas as well. Along with spreading it out, it's kind of softening the whole canvas as well, doing two things at once. All right, now, you guys got to tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwich? Do you like the new lights? Do you like the new setup? Let me know in the comments. What do you think? What do you think? Because I always love knowing what you guys think. Now, let's take our little fan brush. I don't have to get too big a one. Maybe let's use that paint with bram brush. I love these paint with bram brushes. If you don't have your paint with bram brushes already, I really suggest you get paint with brand brushes. They're very nice. Especially this fan brush is like very, very thin, but very firm as well. I like it. All right, a little bit of white paint onto the brush, wiggling it out. That way we get a little bit across the entire thing. And then back over here, let's come up with our big old Paint with Josh cake pan, right? The custom cake pan. And all we're going to do is have a little bit of a line around it. Little touch, dragging it against the pan. That way it doesn't move outward. Right, all the way around. It should light up any little bits of color that we have around there differently, right? Ready? Oh, that's cool. A little bit darker blue over here, a little bit lighter blue over there. Looks really neat. Now, let's grab our 1-inch brush. And let's grab the Paint with Brand 1-inch brush, right? Now put this guy back up here. Exactly where we had it before. Now, with the Paint with Brand brush, I'm just going to grab a couple little bits around the edge of our portal. I don't want it all to be the same. Not going to even try to grab every piece exactly the same. We're just going to pull it out just a little bit. Just to have those couple little bits of something happening out there. Just a little something happening out there. A little thing, go around it very softly. And you can keep that nice little glow without having it grow too far, right? Very cool. Couple little bits out there. We'll add some clouds and do some different stuff. But now we got a soft little eclipse happening out around our moon or our sun, whatever's happening out there. Why don't we throw a little scene inside? Let's take a little bit, some cloudage. We'll pop these clouds down in there. A little bit of paint. Don't need a whole lot. The more that you have, especially inside of a portal painting, woo, the more it wants to grow. It will grow down like crazy and spread to the sides, and that's not what you want. You don't need it to go crazy everywhere. Right? Pull it over from here, from the side. Blend it nice and soft. Get this sweet, sweet little bit of blue cloud out there. All right, we haven't gone outside of our edges. You want to keep everything inside of your portal like that. Now, maybe, just maybe, there was a little bit of light, maybe a little bit of extra cloud, some sort of something right in there. All we're going to do, take it, just blend it, pull it, stretch it, leave little areas where you can have a couple little dark spaces and little things, and just like that, you got a very cool little bit of cloud. Now, maybe we had some trees off in the distance, and then have a little waterfall come out of that guy. Be really cool. Really cool. Okay, let's grab a different fan brush, and we're going to grab up our palette knife, just like that, right? Cool little thing. Man, it's so bright in here. It's like literally being in a TV studio. I hooked it up with the lights, you guys. Straight hooked it up. Now we're going to come in here. What are these 3 dark colors that we like to mix up in order to make a deep, dark mixture? It's that deep darkness Josh likes to use, right? It's a very deep, dark paint. Now, what are the 3 colors? Maybe I'll give you a shout out in the comments. If you answer now, let's see. I'm trying to get it figured out for you guys on Facebook. It's Phthalo Blue is the shade. Blue, black, and crimson. You're 100% right. Says Kelsey Cope. So I'm trying to get it. It's been like on and off on Facebook. Now it seems to have cured itself. So if you're watching on Facebook, thank you for sitting through all of that nonsense. You can always pop over to YouTube or over to TikTok, and either of those places will get you the same video in either platform whenever either one is not working. We're always, on Mondays and Fridays, we're always simulcasting to 3 different platforms. So, let's come in here, just like that. It is Monday, right? Is it Monday, everybody? I think it's Monday. I don't want to be up here simulcasting if it's not Monday. Okay, we'll come over with that darkness, and maybe up into our clouds, and then down, and then up, and then down, and popping over. You don't want to have it so far up into the clouds that we lose all of that back bit, those little horizontal pieces that we had back there. All right, but just up and down, just a little bit. All you got to do, hop it over to the side. Remember, don't go out of the edge. And now look, we've got a little bit of forest at the base of our clouds out there. A little smush with the Paint with Brand 2-inch brush. Love this brush. Ooh, look at that. Fantastic, right? Now, let's go back to the 1-inch brush just because we've got a little less room, right? And we'll just start to tap it down, but we don't want to come out of our portal, but we do want to tap it straight down just a couple times. All it's doing, right, we're smashing, smashing, smashing. Smashy, smash, 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 smashy, smash, smash mouth. Somebody once told me. It's going to be stuck in your head now too, guys. It's going to be in your head for sure. Right? Little smashies. That just all it does is soften our next little layer that's going to come down. Right? So now we got some trees out there in the distance. Look a little funky with those guys. Let's get them a little higher up over here. There we go. Right? They don't all have to be the same, but don't all have them to be so crazily different either. You just got to look how you want it to look, right? Once it looks how you want, then you know you got to finish painting, or at least finish that section. Right now, we said we'd have a little bit of a waterfall come out, so let's switch back to our Bob Ross, or our Paint with Bram fan brush, right? Come in here like that, a little bit of that white. It's intermixing with the blue that's already on the brush, totally fine. So we came back here, very straight across though, right? Very straight across. And it came back, starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger, right? Each time we pull on it. Now as we go back here, you get softer and smaller and smaller and smaller touches. That way, you'll have a much wider space up here as it connects, right? We'll throw some bushes, and then we'll literally take it, and it's going to come out and fall right down, just like that. Over to the side and down. Come out! Over the edge, down. Over the side, down. Over the side, down. How much do you want it to grow? All depends on you, right? All up to you. Now, we could put a little bit of foggy mist at the back of our little bit of our trees and stuff back there. Just adding it a little bit of our fan brush and then going back with a bit more pressure with our 1-inch brush. The 1-inch brush is going to soften everything. Stretches it, softens it down. It's fantastic. Right? Bram's 1-inch brush, awesome. Totally recommend. See, a little bit of misty fog is all we need. Drag some of that up into those trees. Make it a little harder to see what's happening out there. You never know where anything's coming from, really. Oh, that's very cool. Now, what if we did, we grab our Bob Ross 1/2-inch round brush, right? That bush-making brush, we like to call it. Go into that deep, dark mix again. Come up over here, pop up over our river, right? So that way we don't have to see everything. We know it comes over here. We know it comes back. Let's go back in, grab up a little bit more, try to come over there. Maybe there's a few little bits of land hanging out over there. And then maybe right up in here, trying to stay inside of our portal, right? But now we can see that the river is crisscrossed back and forth. You don't have to paint every single thing. Just a couple little things, that's all. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. Get these guys slide them back just a touch. Oof, fantastic. Awesome little waterfall already. Now, let's come back, since we got a little time. It only took about 14 minutes to do that whole sucker and show you how to put on all the undercolor. So, since we need a little bit more paint, let's go black and blue. 2 blues, a little bit of the black, wiggling it down. Bam, bam, bam. Let's come over here. Let's put a bigger, taller little tree trunk. Right there. Boom! Comes down and just lands. I gotta fill it in with that deep, dark color. And now we'll have a tree that's growing up and out of our little portal all of a sudden, just like that. Now, here comes my favorite brush. The most favoriteest brush I've ever used. Have you ever seen a 6-inch liner brush? Because this thing is humongous. I'm just messing around. It's Paint with Bram's liner brush, and I love giving him crap. It's literally the best liner brush I've ever used, like no joke, not even playing around. But it is tremendously long. It is tremendously long. And I know that everybody has commented at how long the brush is in all the groups and stuff. I've seen it. I've seen them comment. So I know that you guys know what I'm talking about when we say how long this brush is, right? Now, let's go ahead and get a little of our black, a little of our blue, just to make a deep, dark color, same as back here. And let's grab just a little bit. You can make the sharpest little tree branches with this brush, I'm telling you. As it cuts through all that light colored paint. Look at how sharp it is. Even as long as the brush is, it can make the sharpest little branches. It's fantastic. You just have to learn how to use it. Right? The more that you use it, the better you're going to get at it. You're going to see all these cool little things happening. We don't have to see the whole bit. Never want to see every single branch, in my opinion anyway. That's never going to be good. So we'll set that guy down. Let's come over. Let's grab up a different little Bob Ross half-round brush, go into our liquid white and then into our blue paint and just kind of dab up a little bit, right? It's going to turn into this little sky blue. And maybe we got to decide where our light source is going to be. It's going to be coming from this side. So maybe off of the back side over here, we put a couple little bits of blue off to the edge, and then we'll add our bit of white onto the top, which will have it stand out nice and crisply. Just crisp. Remember, we got a whole other scene to paint on the outside of this painting, so don't go anywhere. And it's going to be wicked awesome. Remember as well, if you do buy the painting, when we do a portal painting, the buyer can add their family of birds into the portal while my family of birds flies outside. Just a thought. Just a thought, everybody. If you want to get this one, this is the one to get. Let's get a little bit of our liquid white. If you ever wanted to have your family inside of a painting with Paint with Josh's family, then this is the one to get for sure. Come up here, a couple little taps. We're not trying to cover every single bit, right? We still got to have that little bit of blue back there. Little things. Don't want to cover every single piece. Have little bits of blue. Gotta have them. Little teeny tiny bits. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous already. Right? Slightest little touch there too. You don't want to have a thick, heavy touch when you go to put your highlights on. Little teeny tiny touch. All you need. Now, let's see if we can extend our waterfall and just soften it down just a touch. Right? Just bring it down. Doesn't have to go down too far. Just like that, falling out. It's kind of hitting that center beam that's right there, right? So let's wash off the brushes. Every time we wash off the brushes, you guys tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwiches? And I'm going to hop back there and give you a couple shout outs. We got people watching from all over the place. And remember, this painting is available for sale if you go to paintingwithjosh.etsy.com. And as well, one more link, go to happytreestudio.com if you want to sign up for my classes in March in Knoxville. Classes in Knoxville. I need to get more of my thinner. We're just about out of thinner in that bucket over there, in my little cup over here. So, this action show you guys, if you pour it from the tip top, it won't glug on you no matter how full the cup is or how full your jug is. Pour it from the tip top. Always put the lid back on as well before you go to move the thing. That way, in case it falls over, at least it's got the lid. At least we got the lid. Alright, that's much better. Okie dokie, guys. I'm going to come back there, give you guys some shout outs real quick. Tell people where we're watching from. What did you have for dinner tonight? Or what are you eating right now? Are you midnight snacking it? What are you having right now? Let me know in the comments. We'll come back here and see. We got Knoxville Boo-Boo's watching. Boo-Boo! We got Texas, baby. Southwest Virginia. Tennessee over here. We got places all over from Ohio, Northern Ontario, fried egg sandwiches. California had burritos. Syracuse, stuffed cabbage soup. Kentucky, Canada, Pennsylvania, the UK, Florida, Norway, Ohio, and peanut butter sandwiches. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. Now, let's come back. I need to get a little bit of white onto our fan brush here. So I'm trying to wipe off all the blue that could possibly contaminate it. Right, we're going to be contaminating it with lots of blue up here. Now, I don't want to go into that liquid white pile. That's a bad pile. Stay away from that. Let's come off the back onto that thick paint. And we don't need a whole lot because we're on a black canvas. Remember, it's going to show very, very brightly on a black canvas. So let's say we came up underneath here, and we're just popping. We're getting close up to the portal. We got to catch the waterfall over there, popping up. Bing, bang, boom, a little bit underneath. A couple little separation bits. That's all you need. Just a little bit of brightness and darkness. And that's all. And a Paint with Bram 1-inch brush is all you got to have, right? Come up here very lightly. Watch, we'll go up. Start to drag some of it up, right? Up here. Down, very light, not trying to drag all the bits of paint, not trying to disturb every single piece of paint. You don't have to touch every single bit as much as every other little bit, right? Bring our clouds down and down and down and down to Halloween Town. Just like that. The more you mix it, the more it starts to blend away with the deeper, darker, bluer colors underneath, right? Where you can take your white and just literally blend the whole thing if you wanted to. That looks really cool. Really cool. Like there's a whole bunch of lightning inside all those bright spots of the waterfall, right? Very neat. Remember, if you're watching over on YouTube, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't given me a thumbs up yet, toss me a thumbs up because it just helps more people see the video. The more thumbs ups we have, I'm not being funny, I'm dead serious. That's exactly what it does. It helps. So let's come in here. Let's get rid of this dark pile and let's mix up a whole new one with a bit of our midnight black, our titanium white, and our phthalo blue, and it makes that really deep dark color that we can use to kind of contrast off of any of the light color that we've laid down back in here. It just kind of makes a little dark separator, just about as big as a mountain. So we're going to take all this dark paint. We're all going to go to paintwithjosh.etsy.com. We're going to scrape it up like that, come up here and just start making an enormous mountain, just wherever you want it to be. Dump on all that dark paint. Bang, bang, bang. Up here, up there, maybe it comes down, maybe it comes over. Maybe it's up into here and over there, right? We're only worried about what the top little edge looks like. That's it. Slide it down, pull all that paint out. Don't need to have every single bit of all that darkness out here. You can put it in other places to create other little sections of our little mountain as it pulls down. Very cool, right? And then we go take it and we shape it out with our brush. And that's when it really starts to change. So any more little bits of paint we can get to come off, just like that. Get it to come off. Now, let's go back. We'll grab that 1-inch brush again. And maybe we'll start on this side, all depending on our pressure. As we take it, we push it. Push it, right? Grabbing it, pushing it. Maybe taking the back side of the mountain, coming off of this way, going underneath. Right? Making a little ridge right there. Maybe there's a whole little valley. Maybe this side comes down over here. All depends what we want it to look like. Doesn't have to look like any mountain you've ever seen. Just has to look like something that you want or that you made, right? A couple little bits over there. Maybe we'll have a little bit of light over the shadows. Ooh. In fact, yes. Definitely going to do that. Now, let's take these guys and we're just going to pull them straight down. Just kind of straight down back here, about halfway across our mountain. Then we're going to hit a spot down here and turn. Right? So we come straight down, we hit. This side we're pulling off to the edge, grabbing up all that thick dark paint, going along the edges of our little turn guy, and dropping in a few little bits going down that way. And I'll show you the reason why, and then we're going to have a wicked awesome ocean come in too. Woo! It's going to be cool! Now we've got to create, since we're doing blue here, we're going to get a little bit of our white, a little bit of our blue, and let's mix up just a little bit of blue shadowy color. It's like a sky blue color. Look at that. Just a gorgeous color. It's almost too bright, right? So what you do is you take a bit of our darkness and you mix it down into that sky blue color, and it turns it like this bluish, grayish bit. Bing, bang, boom. Just like that, right? Now we take that stuff, we're going to come up on the right sides of our mountain. So as we were coming down off of this guy, he was sliding in there, he was coming down. It's like a little ice wall coming down, right? And then he came down and hit over here. It was like, shoo, shoo. All depends on how much paint is on our knife, the directional swipes that we're pulling downward, right? And this guy, he's got a little shadow off of his valley back there, coming down. Not every piece has to be lit up either. Remember, we're just doing the shadows right now. So even though it looks really cool as some high-lit areas, we're only doing our shadows. Hey, right in there. Very shadowy little night. Very shadowy night. Look at that. Very cool. Now, let's come up here again and grab up a bit more of our titanium white and then just a little sliver of that blue color that we made, and we'll come over here and we're going to mix it up. It's going to be very, very, very bright blue, right? Not our purest of white, just very, very bright blue. It's crazy bright. We're going to scrape this guy up, maybe come off the backside of him, grab it, slide it down that way. A little light catching on the side of our little ridge. Maybe off of this guy, just a little touch as he came down that way. Right? Little bits, and then, oh boy, we come up here, start whipping her down, right? Bang, 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 bang. Wherever you want to touch it with your mountain, and your bit of knife, and you had a bit of land come streaking up into there. Just by turning our knife, we get these crazy little rotational bits. Bang, just like that. Very cool, right? Very cool. Come up here, touch against our little guy. I never like it to be such a straight line. And so you can go either blue or white and just go over the edge. And that way it's not perfectly straight. Right? They don't all have to connect down in there. They really don't. You can always go back. A little bit more of our white. Come up around the side, pull it down. All these cool little things happen, all with the different light, guys. It's so neat. A little bit more of our light color, and we drag it off of this side. The whole time it's interacting with the blue. Every time that we touch the canvas, it's all covered in blue. It's all interacting back and forth. Take a bit more of our white over here. Maybe we had a couple little bright little spiders. As it came down like that. Just excellently. Headed off to the side of Valhalla. We will live forever. Over there. Very cool, right? Now, you want to take it down a little bit further than needed because we're going to have to make a bunch of mist out of our little mountainous area. So we're going to take our brush, just come at it from the side, very soft, in the opposite direction that we went down, right? So if we came down like this, and we take our brush up like that, very gently though. Very vertical here, sort of to the side on that guy, back over there, very, very soft. Not trying to touch anything, we're not trying to drag any color, just want to soften it down, take some of that texture away, take some of the detail away, just like that. And you can have all these little bits happen down around the bottom of your canvas. Don't worry, they're going to actually help. We're going to take our brush like this, we're going to start to tap out more pieces of mountain. Right? You have to do it like a typewriter. So you come up, grab some, come up, underneath, ding, underneath, ding. Right? We're changing our angles over, going more and more like a clock. Now we're at 5:30. Now we're at 6. Now we change because we're going over this way, right? We're not coming back up to that same place. Come grab it, take it back. Take it back, take it back, take it back. And the more that you grab, the more white is going to move. And you just tap at it and tap at it and tap at it. Building more and more and more mountain that you just can't see. You just don't know what's happening up there, right, with all that stuff. Very cool. A lot of mist, a lot of mysteriousness. You can take it and literally mix it up. And that way you can't tell if it's a cloud, if it's a bit of whatever, right? Can't tell. Very cool. Now we can even come back in. Let's say we had a little bit more over here, where we could come down like this. Right, just take them down a bit further with those little bit of details, and then we'll soften them back up. Just like that. Now it's a little bit brighter down there. Come back in, a little softness to it, kind of matching our other softness, blending it out. A little bit of misty fog. Don't have to tap it every time. Right? Just like that. And kind of layer it over the top of itself. Very cool. Just extending down all of our little things, growing here and there. It's fantastic. A bit off the edges. How far do you want it to shine out? Totally up to you. Totally up to you. Maybe we didn't want it to go that far. There we go. Drag it in like that. Very neat. Very cool, right? Now, let's come in with our little seascape. So we're going to clean off some brushes. You guys are going to tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwich? We've already done just about 2 paintings, right? We did one little painting scene in here, and we've done one scene on the outside. Now I'm going to pop in a seascape for your viewing enjoyment. My goodness. It's like 3 paintings in one, Josh. It's only been a half hour. It's only been 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Let's see. Plus, we've got a light show planned for when if the painting sells. It's always better when I have one of my devices that makes a cha-ching noise. But in any case, we could do lots of stuff. I could have the whole lights changed in the thing. I'd have to find, the setting again and put them back. I've already marked it. Well, kind of smart. A little bit. A little smart. Just a little bit. Now, let's come in here. I got one more brush. You guys tell me where you're watching from. What'd you have for dinner? What are you eating for dessert? What you got tonight? What are your plans for later on? You gonna go to sleep? You gonna go party? Was it Monday Night Football? It's probably going on right now, actually. Who's winning? I don't know. I'm not watching it. I'm not watching it. Now, let's come back in here. Let's try the Seascape with the Paint with Bram fan brush. Let's try it out. Let's give it the old college try. Alright, so I'm going to come in here to my white, just a pure white. Not a lot of it though, remember it's going to shine so brightly. And we need to come in underneath a little bit of our mistiness, right? You don't want to go straight up into the thing with your water, take away all those details. You don't want to go too far down, otherwise, first, we're not going to have enough room. Secondly, it's going to look funny. All right, but maybe just underneath, maybe a little 1/4 inch underneath those details. Come in there like that. Little line, nothing crazy. Doesn't need to be nuts. Now, all we're going to do is just kind of lightly fill this guy in. Little bit, little pieces of him. Making a long little triangle out here. All right, a little thicker on one side, less on the other. Taking our 1-inch brush and just softening it down. That's the whole name of the game. Keep it soft. Stretch it out. That way we don't have to have a whole lot of paint out there. And you'll get cool little details just from having the right amount of paint, not having too much. All right, now let's say we had a little bit. I'm going to come in here with a little mustache. Ooh, I like that little brush, Bram. Your brush is nice, buddy. It's a nice old brush. Just like that. A couple little flicks of our light color just to help drag it out that way. Over there. Don't want it all to be the same everywhere. All right. I have little differences, little dark areas, light areas, little different places. Little different bits. I'm going to grab a bit more. We'll come into here. Put another little mustachy shape in like that. Take this guy, start flicking him back. And now we're going to start saving our dark separators. All right. We don't want to have them be humongously big. Like that might look a little funny, but when we do go with our brush and stretch it out and make it a little bit longer and softer, it's going to sneak its way up underneath there. So it's all about judging how much you have to have on your brush before you go up on there, right? How much paint you gotta have, how long is it gonna grow when you go to hit it with your other brush. All these little things make a difference for sure. All right, so we had another guy. Let's give him one more like this, but we're going to change his angle. Oh, yes! That's going to be cool. Going to drag up here. We don't want to cover too much. Remember, it's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller over here because you have to retain that shadow. Don't want to have it too close, otherwise you're not going to be able to tell what is wave and what is shadow, which wave is which, what's coming from which way, and all the other things. You're not going to be able to tell what's happening. Now, let's pop in our big old monster crasher. Right, big old sucker. This guy we can take off that way, a little piece. Blend him out. All you gotta do, put a little paint up there, stretch it. Right, stretch it, stretch it, stretch it. Very cool. Now, one more little piece of detail of that white, because that's what we're gonna have to base it off of, just like all the rest of these guys. And then we come in here like this and just go swipe it down. This guy right here, I kind of like to tap into the shape of however it's going to rotate over. And then you come up here and start your little flick. That's all you got to do. Now, back in here, we're going to start to slide it back to that last little piece of color. So we go back and back and back and back and back and back. And we're going to hit a spot over here, hit a spot over there, and then all of a sudden, X marks the spot. And you have to start rotating. What do we call this little rotational spot? Where we end up coming back to the same little thing, just like a clock. What do we call that little spot right there? Does anybody know? Does anybody know what that little spot is called? Man, this one looks good. The pivot point says, hope the painting is sold. Hey! Womp, 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 womp. We'll have to do a light show in a little bit. Or maybe towards the end, we'll mess around with the lights. I don't want to have to figure it out in the middle of a show and have to come back. You know what I mean? So, the pivot point is correct. It's just like the center of a clock. Going out and around and around and around, back to the same spot. This guy, maybe we might slide down over here, and then it all depends on where you want to have your little bit, because everywhere that you come off one way, you got to go off the other way. Of our little mustache points right there. We're just looking at it from a different angle, right? So, very cool that the painting's sold. We're going to have to get help with the buyer, and they're going to need your help to name the painting. All right, so start coming up with a name for something what would you call this if you had painted it? If you had watched somebody paint it and they asked you, hey, what would I call this? Kind of like I'm doing right now. I like to let you guys help me name the paintings because I've named so many and it just gets to be, the same name after a while. Which I never like it when it's all the same, right? So, very cool, just like that. Awesome. The more that you mix it in with that dark color, the more it'll blend away. Very neat. A little bit of bright light coming up there. So let's load up our brush again, just a little bit. Remember, smaller paint the better on a seascape. Maybe we came up here and we started to rotate over and started to go down and down and down and down and down. You can keep doing this whole thing and just have this curling wave all the way down. But when I do seascapes, I like to change it a bit, right? Kind of taking our brush from being vertical here to making our little swipes, having this angle to now we're gonna hide the handle of the brush over here, come and touch underneath the two bits of color, and then make a little thing like that. Now, what do we go back to? What's that little thing called again? Just as that dark spot is connected to this dark line, and that dark line, and that dark line, right? All adds all that depth in there. So well, guys. So well. So, what do we call that piece? That little spot where we like to come back to? What do we call it? Let's see. Does anybody know? Elaine Tracy knows. The pivot point. That's right. We come back to the same spot. Go a little bit lower. Same spot, a little bit lower. Same spot, a little bit lower. See how we're changing the angle of the brush? It's climbing up and up and up each time. A little bit lower, a little bit lower, a little bit lower. All right, connect to this guy for our final push through. Start filling in the little gaps in between. Doesn't have to be so crazy. And all of a sudden you got this little heart-shaped wave out there. Just a little heart. Doesn't have to be too nuts. Don't want to over-rotate it too much, right? And then we kind of decide, maybe our little heart shape came down to hit right about there. So we start making these horizontal lines and just getting sideways and sideways and sideways until all of a sudden, hey, look at that. We've lined up with our little piece of wave. And all of a sudden it's connecting itself. Now we're going to go very kind of horizontal, and then the more we go in, the more circular we're going to get. We're going to get more and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter little circles coming in as the wave's rotating around. Very cool. Now you come pick it up and bring it out a little bit. Just a little. You want to have this kind of long, kind of 45, maybe it's a large, more shallow than that. So you want to have a long angle like that, right? It's exactly what we want to see in the seascapes. Just like that. I'm trying to make it straight. There we go. There we go. Now I'll show you how all these little things line up and play with each other as we come to softening it, right? Taking our 1-inch brush, same thing that we did with our waves back here. We take our little thing, just go very softly. We don't want it to grow. Just want to soften it. Here, a little bit more hard, a little bit rougher, so we get that paint to grow a little bit further. And then kind of matching our angle off to the side. Grabbing it here, pulling it down at that angle, following our little swipes. Right, now, once I get about to the middle, now I'll start going backwards. And start fluffing these little guys back here, just so softly. Right, just makes them a little softer. Helps everything feed its way together. Seems like we got some fireworks outside. Feed its way together, soften it down. Very cool. Right? Now, come in, grab a little bit more paint, and I'm going to ask you a couple questions. First, I'm going to give you the answers. Right? And what kind of teacher gives you the answers? Only the best teacher gives you all the answers, right? Now, here's the answers. We're going to have to pull down on the wave. We're going to have to push it one side. We're going to have to push it to the other side. So, the question is, and we got to go back and highlight our little tree up there so he stands out. But the question is, when we're pulling down, right, we come in here, we deposit a little bit of paint, and when we pull it down, are we going to pull it down with hard pressure or light pressure, right? Very light with our big old Bram 2-inch brush, or very rough? What do you think? Light, hard, easy, rough? What do you think, guys? What do you think? Oh, I just sneak a drink in there. Whoo! Hard and rough, says Vanity. Girl, you right. You right. You right. That's I like it too. So, we're going to show you both ways, though. We're going to go a little soft, right? Just for those people that said a little bit of pressure. And then those people, just the ones that said a little bit of pressure, you guys let me know. Would you leave your sand looking just like this and proceed on to the next step and be like, you know what? I'm good. I'm ready to rock and roll to the next step. Just yes or no. Just yes or no is all. And also, I'm going to show you a couple things. We'll ask a few more. So no way, nah, says Ryan. Amy says no. Do it hard, says Sarah. Okay, girl. Okay. Calm down. Settle down. Settle. Okay, so we'll come in. We'll do it hard pressure. Watch me bend these bristles. Upside down. Shoot them all offwards, right? Push hard. Boom. Hard. Boom. Against the bed. Boom. Against the wall. Bam, 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 bam. Hard down pressure. Okay? Just like that. Now, you guys let me know. Does that look like sand? You can be honest. Just be honest. Tell me, does it look like sand? If not, right, what does it look like? Does it look like an ice wall? Does it look like an aurora borealis if it was up in the sky, kind of shooting down like that? Let me know, and I'll give you some shout-outs here. Bryson says no. District says it looks like glass. That's cool. Ryan Lee says waterfall. That's kind of neat. Right? Tia Alishire says no over there on Facebook. Looks like a cliff, says gem. Right? You're kind of right. Kind of does. Shabir says it looks like a waterfall. I agree. So now, I told you we'd have to do three things, right? We were going to have to pull it down. Then we were going to have to slide it one way or the other. So, keeping in mind, we've been talking about these dark separators, this little area of darkness that separates every single bit, right? In between all the bits of light, because we're just using white on a blue painted canvas. Oh, excuse me. So, in order to keep it separate, we have to have little dark separators. So let's think. If we wanted to pull towards the wave, don't you think these two little bits would kind of touch together? Instantly smashing our dark separator, melding both of those pieces together, when we would lose it all together. And so what we need to do, like Archery Girl says, we need to pull away from the wave first, right? We're sliding it away. Same rough pressure. Rough. In the kitchen kind of rough. All right, just like that, right? Now we slide it back towards the wave. Back, shrinking down our little teeny tiny dark separator, keeping it just like that, to where our water looks like it's just sat up just enough to slide over that sand nice and wet, right? Just like that. Bam! Now, there's only a couple things else that we need to do. Obviously, our wave isn't really finished yet. Everything below, pretty much done. But the wave is not finished yet. So, we have to come back to our dark mix, and since I'm using the Paint with Bram brush, let's try to do the whole wave with the Paint with Bram fan brush, right? And that way, we'll have to wash it off, switch to our dark color, then wash that off, and switch back to our light color. So, we're going to take our Paint with Bram fan brush, we're going to go into our dark mix, going to slide it down, wiggling it, wiggle, 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 right? All the way down through the paint. Don't have to have it too thick. Don't want to have too much on there. And then we're going to take that guy and attach him to this dark separator as we come in here and we start slapping up just to keep those two colors separate, right? As we're slapping up, we come underneath the wave like we're cupping up with that water, like you're going to grab your honey's bum. Just like that. Boop, little boop right there. You got to boop the wave up under the butt cheek, and then you get to decide where it comes down and smashes, right? So, depending on where you put your splashy, crashy, foamy bit of spray and water, how many little dark spaces you can keep inside there, make it look really cool. Right? The more you do, the more you're going to cover up. Bang, just like that. Very neat. Now, we're going to come back. We're going to do it 2 times, and then we're going to throw paint at the canvas. So, don't go anywhere, and I'm going to show you, and I'm going to ask you some questions as we go. So let me know if you're having a good time during the show tonight. If you like the new lighting, if you like the backlighting behind the thing, it's that slowly changing light. I spent $330 upgrading the lighting in the studio, so I hope that the videos look better. I hope that everything works better. I really do. I really do. Otherwise, I'm going to be mad about spending all that money. Now, let's come back in. We've got our fan brush all cleaned off. Let's come in and grab our Bob Ross Liquid White. It's like wet, runny, watery paint. We've already used it once. Remember when we came up and we touched those guys so softly? Made them look like little bushies. Right? Now if we dab it into this titanium white, it's going to make it very wet and slippery. Right? When it's wet and slippery like that, it's going to feel better, and it's going to come off the brush just so nice up into there. Bang, bang, bang. Right? Slapping up into it. Don't have to do much. Don't want them to all be the same. You don't want it all to be covered up the same bit. Come in there and just start slapping away, crashing down. And then once we get into our little spray of mixed stuff out here, we're just going to hit it. Just dumping on some color everywhere. Now, it looks kind of cool like that, but even though we've dumped on all of that little bit of white, what have we left in between each little thing? What have we left? Right in between all those little bits. All those little bits of white splash that we put up there. What have we left? That's right, Tinker. We left dark separators, right? We had to have. Now, again, we do this part twice. So don't freak out the first time. It doesn't look how you want it to look. You get to do it twice. You come in here with your 1-inch brush and you very lightly start to mix it with that dark undercolor that we put under there. That mix of our crimson and black and blue, and it'll start to change. You don't have to go all the way up. This guy, I don't really like how it looks so much. There we go. That I like a lot better. I'm going to have to go in and fill in that section because it kind of lost all of its brightness, right? Now, we come back, we fill up the brush with a little bit more liquid white. You go back to our little pile, you get more of our nasty, sweaty, slick paint on there. And you come back up and we just start slapping it into our canvas again. There we go. Now, once we're down here, you're going to do it the same thing. We're just going to go less. You don't need to smash so many times. And now, I'm going to ask you a question. I want it to be a brighter color than it is underneath. So am I going to mix it with lighter pressure or with heavier pressure? What would you imagine? If we came up here and we wanted to just mix it up, just, you know, if we touched it ever so lightly, do you think it would go darker or do you think it would stay brighter? If we just touched it so softly, right? Stay about right there down around the bottom. Don't need to go any much further than that. Take it over here, pull it down, swipe it back in. Very cool. Soft little crashy, splashy spray. Now, the most fun part about doing this whole thing is throwing paint at the canvas, right? You've had this whole time, you've been painting it, whether or not you hate it or you love it. You come up to the end, you take a little bit of that liquid white, you deposit it out here, and then you just start spraying in. Let's see how much we can get to come off. There we go. Spraying in, trying to paint with a brand brush. It actually comes out really nice. Spraying it off of our brush, the more that we slap onto the canvas, the harder they become to see all of our little details out in the back. Right? Without all these little details gone back here, and all we're focusing on are these tiny little splotches of white spraying water, it adds so much depth, guys, I'm telling you. So much. You can get them around and off to the side. Doesn't matter where they go. A couple little bits just to soften different areas. Little things, little places. You want it to be, and it's coming over, and it's like smashing over down here. Very cool, guys. Very neat. Now, let's wash that off. We're going to throw in our family of birds. So who was the buyer on this one? Do we know who ended up purchasing this one, girls? My mod team of girls that helped me out with all the shows. Do we know who got this one? Or new? Let me come over. If all of our light was coming from that side, we're going to have to touch on this guy. All the way through to the top. Bingo, bango. Let's see. Little things in the night. Very cool. Very cool. All right, girls, do we know? Go! Go did! How do we know that you did, though, go? Go, go, go. That's funny. Well, thank you. What are we going to choose for a name? I'm going to have to end one of the streams just to verify that it actually, that Go did purchase the painting. And then once verified, then we'll be able to name it and do all that stuff. Pop a couple little clouds up, or a few little stars up into our deepest, darkest parts of our sky out there. Very cool. A couple little sprinklers. Little sprinklers out there. Now, once we figure it out, how many birds are you going to want to add into the painting as far as your bird family? I normally try not, especially in the portal, we could probably do maybe like 3 to 5. They would probably fit well inside there. So depending on how many birds you have in your family, then we'll be able to fit them in, hopefully. Hopefully. So, well, the tutorial is over as far as, everything except for signing it. So, we're going to say goodbye to the YouTube squad. Right? You guys over on YouTube, you rock. You're my smallest audience, but I love you the most. The YouTube page pays the most out of any of the other pages. So please go over when you're bored to my YouTube channel and watch my YouTube videos. Please, please watch my videos. They help pay the bills, for sure. So, let's see. All right, guys over on YouTube, I love you. It's been fantastic. And we're going to go ahead and finish up without you. So come find me over on Facebook. Or if you're not on Facebook, go find me on TikTok to finish watching the last, 2 minutes. I won't even be long, I swearsies. So, thank you guys for watching me over on YouTube. I love you. And until I see you guys again next time, take care. Have the rest of a good day. Up, up, pow, said YouTube. Good day.